my name is Ben Dygert. I won third prize for this thing for my prose piece, Ode to Shiaga. It's actually a monologue from a short story that I wrote by the main character to Shiaga, who is the goddess of nature. And it is a commentary on her beauty and power, and then her sudden and unannounced betrayal and destruction of everything that she strove for.
It's called Ode to Shiaga. Shiaga, my brilliant rose, my green goddess, my greatest victory, my worst failure. You deserve better of me, and I long for the evocation of your spring. Green is not the same without your hand behind its sculpting. The trees of the earth still call to you, for you. They long for the warmth. Answer them, O sweet Shiaga. We long for you, we remember you. Return us to your embrace, for we feel comforted and tangled in your vines. Those vines, such strength, such grace, such treachery. I was there, O great and dangerous Shiaga. I was there the day you were crowned Queen of Spring, Queen of the woodlands and the plains, the streams and the lakes. You spoke to them all, and they listened, they answered. The trees took to marching. They reached up to touch the flawlessness of their goddess, but there was no perfection waiting for them. Those who numbered themselves among the vegetal kin, they loved you, they idolized you. You, their deity of slithering vines and petals of thousand colors. The timeless flower, they called you, and you betrayed them. You betrayed your brothers and sisters, we the nine, we who created you. I was there, O treacherous queen. I was there the day you denied the warmth and the light expected of you. I was there when you danced along the horizon of the world and sang a song of spring, and into the waiting, upstretched arms of those trees you cast down a torrent of rain and snow. Sleet splattered their desperate eyes, and their fingers discarded their leaves as if winter had come anew. What a sick display, O graceful queen! What an unorthodox an afternoon! A spring so dark, a sun so cold, that we among the earth wept for your sanity. Our bright and beautiful goddess had lost her way, tortured by the lords of cold and darkness, or so we believed. It was no accident, we now know. You, my love, my flawless fae, surrendered. There, on the frozen lawn, I was there.
My name is Peter Hotlitzel. Today I shared a piece called Off Gooseberry. It's about an island up in maritime Nova Scotia that I go up to in the summer, and we do some fishing off of there. And one of my favorite parts about going fishing in the summer up there is just the whole serenity aspect of being out in nature and quiet and just being on the water. It's generally where I'm most happy. So I wrote a poem that tried to capture the serenity of that landscape in it.
I really don't do a lot of fishing, but when I do, it's in the summertime. My grandma has a little cottage up in Nova Scotia. One of my favorite things about fishing is just being out in the serenity of nature, just the quiet. So I wrote this poem called Off Gooseberry, which is the island where we fish off of. The water gently claps against the fiberglass hull. We shift our weight from the port back to the starboard, reeling in another cast. The water is black, undulating with a soft white sunlight. We wait for the gold sparkle below as the spinner twirls, swims up towards the surface. A detached head of stringy yellow seaweed floats by slowly in the afternoon tide. The late sun is hot, comfortably stinging above the collar of my t-shirt. The deep green of pine trees cast a cool shade on the rocky shore of Little Gooseberry in the west. The ocean below the setting sun shimmers in a magnesium blaze. The quiet buzzing of another boat's engine fades into the landscape and then back out. The ice crunches in the cooler as we trade our empty bottles for full ones. The water gently claps against the fiberglass hull. We shift our weight from the port back to the starboard, reeling in another cast.
Hi, my name is Miles Ripley. I read a piece called Tigers in Grandma's Garden. It was about the tiger butterfly, which is a butterfly I saw often when I was young because my grandmother had this huge garden and she'd be there every day, and when she babysit me, I'd be at the magnolia bush and just see a bunch of these tiger butterflies that would fly around the bush. So that's what my poem is about.
So this is a poem I wrote when I was young. My grandmother used to watch me when I was small, and she would always be working in the garden, and there was a certain type of butterfly called a tiger butterfly that always came to the garden. So this is about those butterflies. She was dead before I found her at the root of a shrub caught in its spokes, held above dirt. Grandma would sit in front of her garden early May before my birthday and wait for the tigers by the magnolias. Under a wilting sun hat spilling shade to her shoulders, drinking tea through a straw, her tigers sip candy. After a long spring, they become careless, spoiled from gorging on the glands she planted as bait every year. Too sweet to resist and too vulnerable to pity. Nectar blackened their stripes and veins, but she was dead before I found her. Her wings had lost color, a veil as light as sawdust, with pale black lines, gentle but stiff in my palms. I've seen her dead before behind glass, in a finished birch case. I only ask myself now why she was there, framed in my hands. My face leaned closer. I traced the line down her back to where her wings spread open like a fan. The edges were a perpetual blue that manipulated light like sequins on a backless dress. At night, it had its own thin spectrum at the surface, like motor oil on top of fresh pavement. When I showed her body to my grandma, still sitting by the magnolias, she cried even though she was dead before I found her.